Hey there, it's Michael. Welcome to Whole Again, a show about helping survivors of physical injury and trauma reclaim their strength and resilience through the wisdom of Kintsugi. If you're listening to this, my guess is that you've been holding on to a lot. I think we all have. The times we live in are uncertain, they feel more chaotic, and maybe, just maybe, you haven't had a moment to simply be. You also might be new to this thing called meditation, or perhaps you've tried it once, you didn't think it was your jam, so you moved on. And I will say, contra to many of the gurus out there, meditation isn't for everyone. But something brought you back here today. And before we drop in together for a short microdose meditation, I'd like to share more about the philosophy of pause, breathe, reflect with you. Because in this world that's constantly asking us to do more, to purchase more, to be more, it's hard sometimes to find the energy or the space to navigate today with a bit more grace. So what is mindfulness? There are plenty of definitions out there, but when I started my practice to help me get through my recovery, it was all about creating space. Space where I could be grateful or thoughtful, so I could set my intentions on how I wanted to show up in the world that day. So when you think about pause, breathe, reflect, think about it as a way to create space in your life. And to do it, you don't need a special yoga mat or cushion, or scented candles, or to be on the next set for White Lotus. You can do this practice anywhere and everywhere. And it doesn't have to be totally quiet. You can do this practice right in Times Square, right in the heart of New York City, or maybe taking a walk on the beach, hearing the waves of the ocean come into shore. And it doesn't have to be a practice where you only focus on the breath, because coming back to the breath for some people can bring up past traumas. That's why I always recommend that you find a teacher, a guide, that has trauma sensitivity. You can do this practice by hearing what's in the soundscape or through movement, as I'm doing through my rehab currently. There are plenty of ways to practice meditation and mindfulness. It's not all about sitting cross-legged and solely focusing on your breath. And let's get this out of the way. It's not about making your mind go blank. It's paying attention to what's happening in the body, in your heart, and in your mind. You will get distracted. That's all part of the practice. When you get distracted from wherever you happen to be placing your attention, you simply notice and begin again. That sequence of getting distracted and coming back and refocusing is mindfulness. It helps you build that muscle, so when you're really trying to focus on something that really matters to you, you have more strength to do so. And even in those moments where you might get distracted, you have now the ability to come back and focus in on maybe that friend or family member you're talking to, or the task at hand at work, whatever it might be. And your practice doesn't have to take hours a day. And you don't have to go off on a 5 or 7 day silent retreat. If you want to, that's great. And I know people who have. I've done it myself. But those experiences are not for everyone. You can simply do shorter practices. When I got trained, my practice was 45 minutes a day. And I noticed that people had a hard time staying with it. And these are people who wanted to become teachers. So for most of us, doing a 45-minute-a-day practice isn't feasible. It doesn't set us up for success, if you will. That's why when I created Pause, Breathe, Reflect, it was all about shorter practices that we could do frequently throughout the day, and we could do it consistently. And the cool thing now is that the science has caught up with this theory. Science is now showing us that microdose meditations matter. Just 2, 3, or 5 minutes a day can be meaningful in terms of creating space, calming our nervous system, reducing stress, and helping us build the mindset of resilience. So you don't need a bunch of hours and you don't need to go off on a retreat. I like to say if you don't have 10 or 20 minutes in the morning even to practice, I totally get you. This is your place. Because I have a hunch that you have about 10 times throughout the day where you could steal 2 minutes. And if we do a little math, 10 times 2 is 20. So you can get 20 minutes of practice in throughout the day. And it doesn't have to be just at one time. Actually, weaving it in throughout the day helps you create more space throughout the day. You can take 2 minutes in the morning, 2 minutes before your first meeting, or perhaps before you come home, or right before bed. 2 minutes at a time allows you to create space. And it also allows you to be consistent. So this practice becomes a way of life, not something on your to-do list. You just naturally slide into a moment to pause, breathe, reflect. And I will also add this. If your day is so crazy, because some days are that crazy, where you only have 2 minutes, those 2 minutes matter. So you don't have to get to 20. You can simply do 2 minutes, and that counts. So if you're ready, let's take 2 minutes and do a practice together. Wherever you happen to be, you can settle into a comfortable position. Knowing that you're always at choice here, you can close your eyes if you feel safe to do so. You can also leave them open and watch the world go by, or simply have a soft gaze looking down at the tip of your nose. And we'll begin with a deep breath in and a slow releasing breath out. As we begin our practice. And if you like, you can place your attention on the breath or perhaps on the soundscape. Or if you happen to be walking, this can be a movement practice for you. And I'll invite you to rest your attention either on the breath, the sounds, or your body. And if you happen to get distracted, simply come back to your focal point and begin again. Each time your attention gets pulled away, you can simply begin again. All right, nice job. See? A simple 2 minutes. That didn't take long at all. And you can repeat a practice like this or another one that you know of or something on my app throughout the day, all in an effort to create more space so you can approach life with more grace. And that will help you put a beautiful ripple into the world. And if you would like to discover additional microdoses of mindfulness and wisdom, you can download my Pause, Breathe, Reflect app and join us here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:11 Eastern. Again, thanks for being here. I appreciate you.